So this is Steve, and I'm here with Michael. We're at Fryman Square for the Occupy Fort Wayne. Tell me, Michael, what does this movement mean to you?
I think for me personally, one of the most exciting parts of this movement is people awakening, people actually starting to take notice of what's going on around them, get themselves engaged in the political system, and just be aware of how politics and public policy plays into their everyday lives. So kind of we saw a little bit of that in 2008 with some of the excitement about that particular election, and the whole idea of having a woman and a African American kind of opened up a lot of people to engage in the system for the first time, and they've kind of gone back to sleep. So it's nice to see people of all ages kind of wake up to that now and take an active part in the public arena.
Mm-hmm. Anything that you've learned from this experience?
Well, I think one of the things I've learned is really interesting to see how there's some overlapping commonalities between us, yet everybody's here for very different reasons. I know it's been said in many cases, but we've got student loan debt now at $1 trillion. We have education that costs double what it cost 10 years ago to get a higher education. So for young people, that's a really big issue. You've also got those people that are going to be leaving school looking for employment opportunities. Meanwhile, we have seniors that are forced to remain in the workforce. Some of them left and are returning, so they're competing for the exact same jobs, these entry-level kind of occupations, low stress type of deals. And so due to exact same reasons, trying to get by, and that's causing actually some friction amongst themselves. Young people are kind of like, hey, you guys give up your jobs already so I can have one. Elderly is like, hey, I got to eat, I got medication, I got rent, I got to keep working. And so seeing really the same problem, but in so many different areas, I think it's really kind of been an eye-opening thing, and to see how they can interact with each other and try to solve the problem has been really cool.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just think I think it's a really great opportunity, and I think that anything this transparent is got to be a good thing. In the organization stages of this movement, it was all done on web pages, Facebook, open meetings. There's no hidden, kind of hidden hand financing it or planning it. There's no continuity. They're all a little bit different. So I think that, in fact, local officials upon some of the meetings, they had stacks of folders like that big of everything that had been written. So it's a completely open, transparent thing, and I invite anybody to learn more to come down here and visit with us, engage in conversation one-on-one, or come to some of our general assemblies, which can be very chaotic. Democracy is very messy at times. It makes you kind of wonder what our framers, what that process was like with those men, and probably a reason why they didn't want diaries and things being kept during, the founding of this country, because it was probably not as clean as we think it was looking back now. But it's a great opportunity. It's open. Anybody's encouraged to come here, share a meal with us, share a conversation, and share their ideas and viewpoints. They'll learn that we're very much the same. We're not anti-capitalist by any stretch of the imagination. We're not anti-corporation. We might be anti-corporate influence due to money, but there's no problem with corporations in and of themselves. If GE has a spectacular CEO that is able to limit their workforce and maximize profits, that's fantastic. However, is that the right person to be sitting on the president's board for economic employment development? Is that the right person to develop jobs? Probably not. It's probably the right person if we want to be more efficient and save money and lower our costs and maximize our profits. But that's not the same person's job to create jobs. So they're not an expert at that. They're expert at running a company. So again, there's no problem with him as a CEO. Brilliant. I wish I owned stock in GE. I'd probably be doing okay. So again, that's where the messages get muddy. It has nothing to do with the corporations themselves or the CEOs or how much money they make necessarily. Although 475 to 1, I think is a bit extreme of a gap. But if they come by that money honestly through true free competition, but we can't really look at any arena in our public domain and talk about them being completely free. If we talk about capitalism being profit-driven, free competition, and little regulation, we don't really have much of that. We have subsidized so many different areas of our lives. So, but even at that, that's a whole nother conversation we could spend hours discussing.
Sure.
So I won't really delve into that. But again, for me personally, and many of the people I talk to, we're not in any way, shape, or form anti-corporation, nor are we anti-wealth. What we are upset about, individually and collectively, is the amount of influence that money has bought. And I think that what the 9/12 Freedom Rally yesterday was a really great example and somewhat underscores that. There was a lot of talk about people being upset with the occupiers using Headwaters Pavilion and they weren't paying that and it was the wrong place. And I thought much of that discussion had to do with the fact that they didn't think that was the proper location to be holding a protest. And as it turns out, it's actually okay to hold a protest in that location if you have $500 to pay per day. So that got a little bit blurry for me because I really thought they were upset using the Rothschild Pavilion because it was just disrespectful to be holding a protest there. But, and that kind of underscores what people are saying. Well, really? So using your, constitutionally protected Bill of Rights is only allowed if you have $500 or if you do it between the hours of 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. and 11 p.m. So I think that those things are interesting. And I'm happy to, engage in discussion with people that feel differently. But, I just invite anybody to come down here. Also check out some of the variety of blogs. There's good information on both sides. You'll probably be disappointed that there's not very many people from a particular political affiliation here. So we're not endorsing candidates. We're not endorsing a party. We're not taking money. Although we have gotten some support from the unions. I mean, in the name of transparency, the unions have provided some tarps that had to be fireproof due to park regulations of the fire department code. A bus, which has been photographed, where we keep things dry and allows us to get in out of the cold weather when somebody is getting too cold or something. I think that's about it. They are arranging porta potties. So I can't say we don't have any support from anybody, but we have gotten some support from unions. But it's been financial and emotional and not a lot of bodies, as you can see. So it's good. Anything else?
Nope. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Great talking with you.
Great talking.